Stephen Meade again, back with another BullsEye Guy podcast. Been doing a lot of these, but I'm super excited to have the illustrious Ali Kassab on with us. He doesn't know this, but the first time I actually never met Ali, but I heard him come in. We were in Malta at a big event. He pulls up in front, gets out of a car like a rock star. People are hanging out the rafters of the bar in Malta. Hey, he walks in and I'm like, who is this guy? And had no idea the business acumen behind him, because I thought at first, you don't know this, I thought you were a crypto bro just pulling up, but the depth of experience, the accomplishments you have are amazing. So super excited to have you. We're going to go through an arc of all of that, but if you would give us a quick introduction.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Always very exciting to be with you and to talk to you and to share more information, more insight about the market. So very quickly, like you said, I'm an entrepreneur since like my early age. Started when I was 25 years, like it's 20 years ago, and I started with my first startup in France, in Paris, where I got graduated as a software engineer, and I launched my first startup as a software company, integration company. This was the booming period at that time.
Yeah.
And from there, I sold it to another software editor in the customer experience. I moved to Dubai to build one of the largest digital distribution company for telecom operators. We signed big deals with Etisalat and Du. Then this company, telecom company, got acquired by a private fund in the UAE, and they asked me to build one of the largest digital payment platform for the government. If you go to Dubai today, if you want to buy any voucher or any or pay any fine or pay any metro, let's say, ticket or pay any bill, you got many kiosks that are enabled in the UAE. More than 800 are everywhere, in malls, in government areas, etc. So this platform was built by me in 2016 and 17, and it's still running. So when I joined the payment and the fintech industry, I noticed that the blockchain is disrupting this area. So by simplifying it, by creating more transparency, cutting heavily the operation cost behind it, giving more trust into transaction, more computation. So wow, I said this is an amazing revolution for the payment industry. So we started shifting slowly to blockchain, thinking about blockchain, how we can integrate blockchain in our daily area. And then it comes the period of, it was let's say the famous period of launching coins everywhere in the world. So we selected some very, very important projects that we supported and that we helped them to raise funds from the GCC region, thanks to our network and trustworthy relationship in that area through family offices and I mean health high net worth individuals. And we succeeded to launch maybe almost 10 to 15 coins that have done very well, and they are still existing and doing very well. And from that stage, it came to my mind that to establish like a payment platform that is mixing somehow fiat and crypto to facilitate merchants, to facilitate acquiring of coins online. So we launched it under Centurion. We participated to a lot of projects that are revamping fintech for government in the UAE as well and in the region. And recently we launched Centurion Invest, which is an exchange, decentralized exchange, and offering all type of trading. Now it's not a traditional launch, because our aim is to bring along with this exchange a digital EMI, a digital bank, to facilitate somehow the adoption of the crypto world
Yeah.
to users who are willing to join this revolution, but they don't know how. So they need somehow to a kind of awareness and education. So we built a very big contact centers in the Middle East. More than 100 employees are working to support the opening of wallets, the deposits, how people can trade, what is trading in spot, what's trading in future, how they can withdraw funds. So we built like two platforms that are connected. One is the exchange crypto, and the other one is the EMI. Both are in Europe. The EMI is in France, and the exchange is in Estonia. And this allow basically the user to deposit funds easily, move the funds into crypto, start trading them in spot or in future. If he don't know how to trade, he can consult with our specialist, or he can just decide to deposit the fund in a trading funds and get only the rewards of the monthly rewards of the earning from that fund. So we built like 3 funds where people can invest their money and stack it. It's not a simple thing. It's giving a high return on the reward. Once they got their return on monthly basis, if they decide to withdraw it or to spend it, the EMI account will allow you to have later on a debit card that you can pay with it on a Visa and MasterCard network.
Yeah. So
So
we,
um, in just in 2018, we got awarded. I got awarded. I was awarded the CEO of the year by the Smart SMB under the Dubai government economic department. And last year we were awarded top 10 innovation business innovative leaders in the UAE for all the let's say the revolution that you have created around blockchain and crypto in many government organization or on private sectors.
so what we've just done there, Ali, is we've covered about 15 to 18 years in 4.5 minutes. So you took us on this great journey. Let's back up for a minute to the government stuff. So some of the work you did with the early digitization of government and moving government services online, which also encompassed payments. What was your interest
Yeah,
moving into that space, and how difficult was it to deal with the government in those early days around digitization?
of course. So we started around in 2011 in the GCC to provide insights to decision makers in the government sector. First, let's say, first move was to give them um, best practices that we got from Europe on sorry, one second.
Yeah.
We got from you on customer experience. So this was very important to provide to decision makers in the GCC who still who were mainly in a retail customer experience wise, how is important to start thinking about digitalizing the customer experience. Okay, so this was early stage 2012 2013. So we worked with Amar, was one of the leading property development. We worked with Dubai Properties, with all government sector, Dubai Economic Department, till Saudi Arabia, government entities, Bahrain, Oman, etc., and so on. So it was very hard
Yeah.
to convince, to create this need. It's not a need but to create this decision making power into the user, because we were coming from an IT controlled budget. The customer experience was always handled by IT budget. So the person who decide is basically the CTO or the, let's say, the IT director, not the business. So we were able to succeed to shift the power from IT department to business department to show them that this is something that will create value for an experience for users. And we started with that. This was the first experience we had. Then we digitalized the whole. We came up onto the telecom sector where we had to create somehow a network for the two operators in the UAE and some operators in Egypt and North Africa to digitalize the reach of the distribution network
Yeah.
they have. And the telecom network was somehow shrinking in terms of revenue because of ma- the number of offer that operators are pushing to the market without real engagement from customers. So it was very important to have a partner like us in the distribution who organized the distribution channel. So this was Sky Telecom that was it was created in 2015. Around 2015 was sold in 2017, and then we came up to the payment platform where it was very important for a government in UAE, like UAE, for governments like UAE, especially
Yeah.
Dubai, who is pushing the smart government vision to offer the digitalization of services on all channels, not only on the web or mobile, but also in the self-service sector. And this is where we built like a large network of payment in retail, in malls, in shops, to allow all customers and all users, citizens, to pay any kind of services from the government. And this allowed really revealed us to rewarded us to become like to be selected as the CEO of the digital transformation in 2018 for the whole effort that we have covered in that region. And it came up that it's really shifting the whole experience in the region, because it's more than 70 services from the government of the UAE were completely digitalized on a self-service basis. That means you just go to a machine and you can maybe release a driving license or renew
Yeah.
your car license or print your trading license. So many services were digitalized on a self-service machine for payment or for service. Even court services were completely digitalized. Some government like Ras Al Khaimah government were completely digitalized. Court services were completely digitalized on those platforms. So it was really amazing experience. Not easy, like you said, because it's a new culture to bring in. So people don't know what will be the let's say the advantage or the benefit for users, and also the benefit for the government itself. So it was like a baby step all the time. We had to prove ourselves and bring this step by step. And we were right, because now after the COVID, we considered that, we noticed that this was the right bet to do at that time. We were in advance. We played the right card, and it pays, because without this you cannot survive anymore with the current situation that we had in the
Right.
past 2 years.
And that company is the one that you won the CEO award for the UAE, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
So
company, we won the award of the CEO of the year. And once we on Centurion, we won also the business top 10 business innovative leaders in the UAE in 2020.
yeah, so that'll give us our transition, Ali, because the people that watch and know me, and you and I have spoken some. I've started 5 companies in where I'm the first one in the world to do something in technology. I've started 11, but I have a term called retrospective evolution, meaning how do you look backwards to
Yeah.
figure out what works and then move it forward to tell a new story? And that's why I wanted you to explain selling into the government. You had to get them to think differently. And now with Centurion,
Mm.
where we are with the world of blockchain and crypto and tokens, to me, a lot of it is like traditional. In the US, we have the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and then we have micro caps, which are early stage. I think a lot
Mhm.
of the stuff around the exchanges can follow the path of existing
Mhm.
technologies, but the exchanges are just
Yeah.
better, faster, more efficient.
So the exchange is a digital marketplace at the end where you can trade titles, options, stocks, etc. So
Yeah.
basically, what people are building right now is a marketplace where people can trade an asset. Okay, this asset can be anything, because today you with NFT, for example, we are tokenizing a lot of objects, and
Everything will have a serial number.
everything, exactly. So
Whether it has value
so
or not is the discussion point, but everything will
exactly.
have a
So
number.
it will become only a question of supply demand,
Yep.
reach. So
Yeah.
the more
Market,
you
supply, demand.
market, supply, and also reach, if you are so basically, when I started on the blockchain and the crypto, I was always telling people that one of the obstacles that the crypto ecosystem and the blockchain ecosystem is suffering from is the non-inclusion, the non-inclusion of the legacy world, let's say,
Yeah, it's the
if you want to name it
retrospective
like this.
evolution. You have to go backwards
so
to bring
so
it
so
forward.
yeah those people, they don't want to basically, um, they want to stay in their own ecosystem, and they don't want the inclusion of the, but this is wrong, we
Yes.
need, because the more you have inclusion and social, because blockchain basically, and the concept of blockchain is done for social inclusion, social financial inclusion. Basically, one of the best advantages is offering everyone the capability to have a wallet that is stored on the blockchain without the control of anyone else.
It
So
will
you don't
give,
need to go to
yeah,
a bank to open a bank account.
it'll
Basically,
give
this
a
is
it'll
this is
give
blockchain.
99% of the world access to financial instruments they've never had before.
Yes. So exactly, and you don't need to have or to justify of any kind of income or revenue to have access to payment tools
Yes.
or to payment
And to
instruments
participate, somebody can buy
and to
$50
participate.
worth of an asset or $5 worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the amazing concept of the Bitcoin itself, and blockchain. So when it comes to this, what the blockchain community and crypto community built over the maybe the first 3 or 4 years was a complete closing lockdown on themselves without giving access to, or to the acceptance that the world is looking for. So everybody is looking from outside. Oh, those guys, what they are doing, we don't know. Okay, so put them on the side. No, what we want to provide is a different image, saying that yes, everybody can come in. It's easy, because from the experience that we are getting, why we decided to go to the exchange is basically, I have over 100 friends. 90 of them don't know how to do it. They
Yeah.
won't, and now with the FOMO feeling, the fear of missing out, they start calling me. Oh, Ali, you have an exchange, how I can do it, but I don't know how to trade, I don't know how to transfer, I don't know how to withdraw. The basic things are not there. And if you go to the big exchange, like you said, we want you to become number one. I said, I don't want to become the number one. I want to become the most friendly one. So if you go to all the big exchange, they you have the impression that they are only giving access to people who understand crypto to
Yeah.
come on board. And if you don't understand, okay, it's your problem.
Yeah. It's
So
I
basically, this is the feedback that I got from many big businessmen, big investors, or even a small one, who still didn't join till now. And
this we'll
let
have
me
to
tell you
coin
one
them.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Ali. Of course.
If you look at the increase in term of number of users
Hmm.
since 1 year, since Bitcoin started doing like 300% on a monthly basis, or let's say 200% on a monthly basis, the more you have acceptance. You were talking about it just before the podcast. The more you have acceptance from the community, from merchants like Starbucks, We will not talk about Tesla because it's only an advertising thing, but PayPal, Visa, so the more you will have acceptance on the blockchain network, the more the dilution of the, let's say, the, how to say this, the volatility game will disappear, because you cannot play anymore with a big market. You cannot manipulate a big market. You need a very big supply in order to manipulate a big market. So the more you have people who are willing to buy into the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and other currencies, the less you will have volatility control or volatility game. So it will get stabilized somewhere.
Yeah, that's
which is good for the market.
I agree. That's, again, I'm very good at explaining because I've got a background in financial services. And I tell people, I said, Bitcoin will eventually end up with less volatility, just like a stock. If Bitcoin drops $6,000, people panic, but that's a 10% drop. If Apple goes from $130 and drops $13, nobody cares, but it's still a 10% drop. So I think Bitcoin will stabilize like the New York Stock Exchange. Other tokens will be down like NASDAQ in the US, and there'll be others in a microcap that will be highly volatile, but the risk is higher, but the return and risk is there. So there's different lanes that I think people will eventually understand. The tokens will be divided into low, medium, and high risk, and the volatilities will be different in those buckets.
Exactly, but again, if the number of buyers or investors is increasing, even if there is let's say somewhere, sometime you have a whale manipulation of the market, this will got somehow diluted a little bit. Why? Because there is a big number of people who are willing to buy in, and give support to the asset, so right. And what I really like in the current transformation where the market is going right now is the acceptance that we are opening somehow those assets to be accepted on merchants' website, on e-commerce, on retail, and the more this will got accepted, which means the usage of those assets will become more frequent, and it will for sure give a higher value for those markets. And platforms like ours will play a huge role, because our role is not only to give a simple trading platform. We are really looking to expand this into a payment expansion system where any wallet holder of Centurion Invest can pay on eBay, Amazon, H&M,
it's just
Virgin,
a
Mega Store,
like it's a merchant processor.
Exactly. So we are working on building partnership thanks to our background in the payment, because we did it already for governments. So now we are working on establishing partnerships in our region first with those important players to say, okay, listen, a wallet holder, he's an EMI, but on the back end it might also be a crypto, but for you it's anyway it's a regulated EMI in France, so you just need to accept the wallet payment on your website like PayPal is doing right now, and give access to those users to pay on your website with their assets, whatever is the asset is, which is something that can really disrupt the payment market and go within the digital transformation that we are living after the COVID, panic, because everybody started accepting digital somehow. Only once, COVID appears and said, oh, now we have to do everything online. Oh, fantastic. We're saying this since 10 years,
I may have to decide if I take any credit for the PayPal thing. We were in Davos January. I was with all of the executive team, and they were talking about crypto. And I told them, I said, guys, accepting the merchant, in my opinion, doesn't directly accept crypto. if you're the processor, it's just like the merchant of record. I said, if PayPal will take Bitcoin and convert it to cash to the merchant, everybody in the world could accept it because the merchant can still get paid in cash. There's some easy conversion tools.
Exactly.
I want to talk about something,
Exactly.
Ali, though, because people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, you know, Bitcoin's driven by FOMO and fear of missing out. And I said, that's fine. But blockchain and crypto to me is driven by what I call FOMI, which is financial opportunity made easy.
Yeah,
The easier it
exactly.
gets for people to come on, the more volume is going to be there, the more
Exactly.
supply. So it's all about financial opportunity made easy to bring that
Exactly.
whole world into a new financial
Ex-
structure.
exactly. Yes, this is what will, this is exactly what's going to happen, and this will be thanks to efforts like and companies. And you know what I love about blockchain is the re, the resources computation. You know, we share resources. We
Yeah.
don't want even, it's something good for environment as well, for sustainability. If you have a skill or if you have a value and I am on the same network, why I should reinvent what you have done already? No, I will share that resources from you and then we grow together. And this is blockchain, you know,
Yeah.
and this is blockchain, and based on that, crypto processing and mining was built, you know. But okay, even if there is a lot of question mark on the mining stuff regarding the
But
environment, but let's say for the environment, it's healthy to
my
reutilize resources that exist already and
my
grow it.
argument with that, Ali, because again, I love making these arguments with people who don't know how to defend their position when they talk about crypto mining, and not everybody understands it, but I said, look, there's more and more opportunity for the mining facilities. Like my guys, I have friends that are right next to hydro facilities in Norway. They pick up the extra power that would just be lost. Bitcoin and
Mm,
mining can move more and more environmentally friendly. Explain to me how
exactly.
gold can become more environmentally friendly, digging it out of a mine. And they look at me, I go, you can't
Yeah,
make
of
gold
course.
more environmentally friendly, digging
Of
it out of
course. Of
a
course.
hole in the ground. Bitcoin. So I know how to make these distinctive arguments because I think the press doesn't do a service because people don't know how to explain it and tell good stories. And that, again, I'm so excited with what you're doing because your background, you've done these kind of big, complex, sell to the government solutions, which are difficult. And now moving into crypto, the exchange is there with you. The onboarding for retail customers, which again, most people know are consumers, making it easier, right, for consumers to buy into Centurion, providing information for them. And then I think you and I were discussing, I don't think it's confidential, adding in banking services, correct?
Yeah.
So now you've got deposits that you could potentially for the consumer have tied to a
Hmm.
debit card. But I
Exactly.
also believe if somebody uses Centurion as a business token and raises money, 10, 20, 30 million, they'll be
Yeah.
able to deposit those funds into the bank solution
Exactly.
and have banking solutions. Like I need a line of credit against my crypto deposit. I want access to loan programs just like I have with traditional fiat and stock. And I think when the
And this
world
is an
moves there, when
amazing project.
yeah, when you offer business and retail, again, it's retrospective evolution. I fought with Malta for years. That's why, you know, I'm so interested in the Dubai GCC region, Ali, and what you're doing is the bank guys couldn't get their head around taking crypto deposits and then giving me a loan against the deposits. Like I'm putting collateral in the cold storage. That's better than a signature. You know, so
Exactly.
I think the world's gonna catch up. Let's wrap up with this from a market standpoint. I'm really excited personally about Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the GCC, the UAE, what Saudi Arabia is looking to do, and I think the Abraham Accords with the Middle East
Yeah.
cooperation. I believe that region is going to be one of the most explosive regions for the next decade because of the
Exactly.
cooperations. Are you seeing the same things? What's your
Yeah,
thoughts around that?
definitely there is a lot of nice use cases that has been built in this region, and they are always ahead, in terms of technological revolution, because they understood that this is serving uh, citizen and customers purpose, somehow, because they want the acceleration, they want paperless,
Yeah.
fight any kind of like fraud, build more trust and transparency in transactions, be able to access any kind of data from, and there is a lot of things that we have been doing on the blockchain with the government with governments in UAE, for municipalities, for police, for passports, etc. And this really was, those are really amazing experiences, and they are really investing a lot on those use cases, because they understood that this is the future. And even if it is still crypto uh, is not, no, I mean, they started now regulating it,
Hmm.
um, but they understood very well the benefits of the blockchain in the ecosystem of the government. And crypto will just come and complement all this, because it's somehow a tokenization, a listing and tokenization of let's say
It's
assets, that
it's an asset
asset,
just like the market,
exactly.
does. And
So
the sooner we
the
get to people understand that, the mystery will go away. And I think
yeah,
the FOMO will kick in, the financial opportunity made easy will get
exactly.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. And the fact, okay, so what's very important in crypto is, right now, okay, people don't maybe always mix a little bit between regulation and is it legal or not. Okay, when we say it's not regulated, it doesn't mean it is not legal. So
Right.
this is in general, okay. It's not regulated, that means there is no a body in the government of a country that has drafted or has issued a decree, or let's say a law regarding the use of those assets, because they are not considering them for now as a financial asset, let's say. Some countries like Malta, like Estonia, like Switzerland, they took the advantage, because they understood very quickly that this is going to bring to them foreign direct investments in their countries. And they took the advantage of, let's say, FOMI, to draft and to
Yeah.
accept immediately, and to make a regulation, friendly regulation for cryptocurrency and for blockchain ecosystems. Uh, but if we look at the UAE, I believe they are willing to protect somehow their
That's
financial institutions, who has given a lot of services to the market, uh, and that we can trust, because many countries has collapsed because their financial institutions were not trusted. We
yeah.
can talk about Lebanon, for example. I'm I mean, this is a very good example. Or other countries completely collapsed because the financial institution were not playing enough governed role with the central bank to protect the interest of investors. So in this way, we can say, oh, blockchain somehow is owned by no one.
Yeah.
So when your asset is on the blockchain, it is more trustworthy to have it on the blockchain than in some banks who will manipulate the accounts, or take your funds and borrow it, and land it to, let's say, anonymous organization, and then collapse the complete ecosystem, and the economic situation of the country will become like chaotic, like what happened in some countries.
Yeah.
If you look at
That's
Venezuela or other
Venezuela.
countries, I mean, yeah. So blockchain in this case and crypto is a solution,
This is how
but
I
again,
describe it, Ali, is because people again talk about security and regulation. I say there's two things that we're going to look at for regulation, and they're different. One is a company using tokens to raise money. There should be
Yeah.
regulations, and we went through that. We became a virtual financial asset through Malta. We wanted to be a qualified token to make the project legitimate. We could just go direct, but that regulation was designed to protect investors. And I think that
Yeah.
will get there.
Exactly.
The other side of
And this
regulation
is,
is
yeah.
taxation. Like eventually the government will figure out how to tax it. So crypto itself is not illegal, but the jurisdictions of how you control using it to raise money or how the government will tax it, those are the two components that are getting worked out around the world.
Exactly, and this is very important. At the end, what we are looking when we talk about security is the objective is to protect investors and
Correct.
users. To not lose their asset or their investment, so that not fall into some like bad manipulation. So this is where I believe there is some lines to draw between to explain to people
Yeah.
the difference and the limit between those two words,
But
and
let's,
and this is something maybe that you can address in the coming podcast to really
I've done
give
a
a
lot of them.
clear visibility
Yeah.
to people about this, that
I've,
investing in crypto, yes, it's risky, but it's like any other investment. But you have a visibility on your investment that you control yourself, and it's owned by the network of the blockchain, who is operated by hundreds of thousands of machines over the world. And the advantage of the blockchain that any single let's say bit on the blockchain is stored similarly on all the machine at the same time, and you cannot
it's
basically, it's immutable.
it's not only that,
Immutable,
Ali. Well,
like
go ahead.
immutable, and it's life, it's lifetime data.
I
So
I, I
if you look at the gold, when you were talking about gold, why gold got value? Because gold nature don't change with the time. So if you look at the blockchain, it's same. The digital asset, those digital assets don't disappear with the time. They are a lifetime transaction stored on hundreds of thousands of nodes and machine all over the world.
Yeah, and again, you said something earlier because I could talk to you for hours. I do a lot of shortcasts explaining all of these things because I love the education side, but you use the term immutable, and I understand that term. A lot of people don't. I explain it like this. I had a public company in the United States, a micro cap. We thought we knew all of the shares. It was a public company, but there were shares that were hidden. And when we were in the market, there was a group dumping shares. They were selling stock and driving our price down because there's no transparency.
Yeah.
In the blockchain, what immutable means, the most simple way I describe it is, for us, Amon, our Moneta Pro token, we issue 200 million tokens fixed. That is available. Anybody that wants to see how many tokens are there, there's programs out. So in the stock market, there's a lot of manipulation where people can issue more stocks and do things that drive the price down or enrich the shareholder, the company holder. Blockchain protects the investor. The projects themselves are the ones that need to be legitimate. And that's where I want to end it. I'm excited about the Centurion exchange. I think you'll do an amazing job bringing on great projects, good opportunities, things that are designed to protect and educate the investor,
Yeah.
but using the technology in the new ways that'll benefit the company, the token holder, and the environment, the economy as a whole. Is that a fair assessment of the goal of Centurion?
Yeah, exactly. I'm really happy with this assessment.
Perfect. All right, Ali. Well, we'll catch up. I'll be in Dubai in May with Iman and the AIBC.
we
So
we will all be there.
perfect. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. You're a rock star as always. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and you are doing a great and amazing contribution to the community and to create the right awareness to people. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's
much,
all about
Stefan.
awareness and making it easy. All right. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you very much. Bye.